education in America has been extremely romanticized via mainstream media like Legally Blonde, where it seems grades are the determining factor of whether you get accepted into your dream school or not.
What, like it's hard?
However, the sad truth about Ivy League schools in America is that they are controlled by big business, like Monopoly. It's a game to make the most profit and eliminate competition. If you have money, you are twice as likely to get into these elitist schools. Simply getting good grades, in most cases, just isn't enough to combat the abundant platter of gold in the eyes of college admission. To get some perspective, Cambridge University in the UK has a $26,304 lower tuition fee than Harvard, and many international colleges that are comparable to such high-status campuses are relatively cheaper.
So why is Harvard, along with the other Ivies, seen as the most elite universities?
Most argue that their academic excellence sets them apart from the rest. Journalist Adrian Popa stated himself that the Ivy League universities are known for their top-notch academics and have set high standards in education, producing many leaders and innovators who have made a big impact on the world.
And it's true, America is ranked the best education system in the world, with big thanks to such institutions. However, globally, America isn't even ranked in the top 10 educated countries. And when taking a closer look at these harsh college acceptance rates from Ivy Leagues along with costly factors, it's not surprising why.
Let's break it down to the three major factors that cause such a divide between international and American top universities into what we like to call FIT: funding, international students, and tuition.
So where did the Ivy Leagues get all their money from? That's where big businesses we talked about earlier come into play. Ivies are practically funded by donations from wealthy individuals who come to influence the exclusivity of education with their endowments. This practice dates back to the Gilded Age, when monopolists, for example, Andrew Carnegie, set the precedent of philanthropy into wealthy consciousness, while at the same time creating cliques between investors and universities. But these acts of philanthropy seemingly cannot be deemed as donations, as financiers are receiving profit in return.
Journalist Ervo of the Career Success blog analyzed, financiers provide consistent donations to ensure their endowments to earn higher and higher returns, and therefore they see personal return on their investments as well. It's evident money isn't an issue for this university, and probably never has been. Just as it's clear, investors and universities work hand in hand to keep money flowing and rig the education system.
And despite the endowments colleges grant students themselves, the prices of attending such universities are so expensive, many students are still forced to drop since they can't keep up with inflating tuition rates.
Not to mention the stringent acceptance rates limiting 99.5% of American high school graduates who want the best of the best education.
International student acceptance rates are no exception. This brings us to the I in FIT. Ivies paint this beautiful picture of diversity and equality they claim to cherish and praise. But behind the canvas lies the true dark reality.
If you thought getting into an Ivy League as an American citizen was hard, try being an international applicant. Though it may not seem like a lot, international student acceptance rates are 2% less than its American counterparts. For clarity, if a school had 100,000 student applicants, a 1% decrease would mean 1,000 more students would be denied admission. It adds up.
However, universities that don't hide behind an illusion and actively welcome international students with wide arms are not abnormal or mythical. Plenty of universities in Canada, Germany, and UK encourage international applicants, and additionally pertain to less restrictive policies and acquire financial accessibility. Unlike America, these countries don't make higher education seem like this exclusive club that only selected 1% get into, but rather a public sanctuary where intellectual and personal growth can flourish.
In Norway, they even have study visas to enable students to work part-time in order to help regulate college fees and other costly factors. Directly perpendicular to this, the U.S. places strict limitations on employment opportunities for foreign students, thus building upon the pile of student debt and financial instability college already is known to provide.
For colleges who praise to want the best of the best, they make it pretty unattractive and unattainable for anybody but privileged and wealthy Americans. And of course, we can't end without addressing the most loved college commodity of all, tuition.
If anything, getting into Ivy Leagues is the easy part, but maintaining Ivy League expectations is a whole other level.
The average tuition for such universities starts at around $60,000 per year, And of course, this does not include any study materials and/or living expenses, etc. Conversely, in Germany, most public universities are ultimately tuition-free.
And in France, they charge a fixed fee of 300 euros per year, which is about $310 US. Not even our close-related UK brethren face such high tuition costs, despite still having known expensive admission fees.
Like we talked about earlier, money isn't the issue for Ivies, so why do tuition fees continue to inflate year after year? Simply, it's because people are still willing to pay this absurd price of education to have the honor of being a student of Yale University, to continue a family legacy for bragging rights, or to remain elite.
The whole toxicity surrounding Ivy Leagues is the idea of attending an Ivy League rather than the actually receiving higher advanced education. It's all about networking, a waterslide down to Wall Street. Profit.
The truth is, public opinion feeds the gluttony of profit, thus hindering valued education and intellect. Because we think Ivy Leagues are elite is why they are so selective. Because we believe Ivy Leagues are better than other schools is why elitism is taken form among such praised schools. Because we feed into the rigged, systemic education system is why prices skyrocket and admission rates plummet into deep waters.
By taking a more counterhegemonic approach to education, as France, Germany, Norway, the UK, and so many other countries have, we can develop a more open and truly diverse educational structure.
Originally, schools were made for wealthy, elite religious leaders. It would be nice to say we have made large strides towards progressivism, but in retrospect, it's hard to say we have. The education system we have now is completely outdated for the modern age. Hegemonic educational ideology has lasted for centuries.
So out with the old and in with the new, and cheers to the international universities who seem to have a more democratic approach to education than we do.